What's happening, people? It's Rux, your favorite UX design bootcamp graduate. So it's been a few months since I last posted a video, and I'm sure you can tell why that is. Work. But to be honest, the hard work has paid off because I recently got promoted. But as you can tell from the title of this video, I've basically turned my back on UX design. Of course, I believe there are some good reasons why I've done this, so I thought I'd use today's video to sort of bust a few myths that I think a UX design bootcamp can lead you to believe about the role in the real working world. So with all that said, let's tell some truths. Okay, so if you saw my last video, you will have seen that I recently moved to Deutschland, aka Germany, in pursuit of a role acting as a consultant to the product owner. Well, fast forward to now, and I am officially a product owner in my day-to-day role. Product owner, UX designers both work on the same team, in my particular case, the mobile app team, to help build the mobile app. But of course, there are differences between the roles on a day-to-day basis. I studied to be a UX designer for 11 cruciated, gruesome months. I put my blood, sweat, and tears. Okay, no tears because, you know, toxic masculinity, but I put a lot into getting that UX design certification. But when I got to the role, I found out that UX design was not as slick and as sexy as it's made to seem online. The first thing I noticed was there was no respect on my name. And by that, what I mean is UX designers, I think we believe that as the voice of the customer and as the voice of our users, that what we say would kind of go. As in, we're building the best experience for our customers and our users, so build it, like we've said. However, in the real world, on a product team, you have a product owner, you have UX designers, and you have developers who all work together to build a product. But ultimately, it's the product owner that gets to decide what features are built and the order that you're built in. So while as a UX designer, you may design it in the sexiest way, for example, designing a chat function for users. However, it's ultimately the product owner that says, let's build a chat function. Even when we get to that alignment between the UX designers and the product owners, the sexiest, beautifulest, most wonderful UX experience that a designer would always want to build often clashes with what is actually built because business needs has to come into it. As a UX designer, you care only, solely about the customer's needs, but in the real working world, it's business, okay? So business have targets, business have goals, and business have requirements. Business have software that they use that means that whatever it is that you design can't necessarily be built. Like the user flows that you design, the perfect optimum flows, because of the systems and the tech that the company uses, it means that this wonderful, beautiful dream that you have thought of can't actually happen. And as a product owner, you get to understand so much more the business limitations and like the functional, technical limitations that leads to this dream user flow not being built. And as a UX designer, I don't think you get to see that as much. You're constantly defending your designs and saying why it should be like this, and then constantly getting shut down. And I'm not saying that there aren't UX designers who do very well at managing to convince the business into creating what they want, but it is very difficult just because of these business limitations. The second myth I would like to bust about UX design in the real working world is the testing. Okay, so I hope this is not just a my organization thing, but I think working in a fast-paced environment, of course, when you learn about UX design, we need to test, and iterate. But when you're getting to that MVP version, which my organization is currently working on, we are trying to release to the market quickly, which means that we don't have like 2 months to wait or 1 month to wait for UX design to go through the whole development cycle for like small features. And what I'm finding in the working world is that this balance of testing and development needing is kind of off. To put it in a normal words, let's use an example. Say we wanted to build a chat function for a mobile app. We would, of course, have the idea from the product owner, maybe some requirements from stakeholders of what they would like to have. But the UX design team would take this like requirements document and sort of run with it, do some low fidelity prototyping, test that, do some mid fidelity prototyping, test that, do some high fidelity prototyping and test that till we have like this beautiful clickable, probably in Figma, since that's the design software that everyone loves using now, prototype where we can really simulate what this would look like for our customers. But the thing is, to do this, we need time. And time is something that really we don't seem to have anymore. Everything is so go, go, go. There's so many competitors out there that have already launched something. And I know you're not meant to just watch competitors and try and keep up with them. It's just when you work in a really competitive industry and with COVID, everything's online now. All the first movers were like really great and everyone else is playing catch up. To do this whole iterative cycle and process would take about a month, rushed, or 2 months done properly. And it's just, we've got developers on the team that need to develop, and we've got stakeholders asking where the product is and why everything is taking so long. So then you end up with UX design team having to rush to design something that can be handed over to the developers for them to build, and ultimately not having enough time to test things as much as they would love to and as much as really we're taught to. But understanding, again, as a product owner, understanding the business needs and understanding the timeline pressures and understanding that we need to build an MVP and release it to market as soon as possible, you get to have more insight into exactly why these issues are arising. The last thing that I would like to make you aware about UX design in the real working world is sometimes just how unappreciated you really can be. Given the hard timelines, the deadlines, and everything else in between, sometimes an organization might think that as long as they have a UX designer on the team, that's pretty much tick the box, and yeah, as long as the UX designer is creating visuals, then that's all really that's needed. But there is so much more to UX design, and there is so much more required in order to deliver a wonderful user experience for the customer. Test an example that I just gave. And often UX designers can find themselves stretched pretty thin. So for example, a UX designer designing both web and app, when these teams are huge, just be aware that it can be hard sometimes to get an organization to invest enough into UX design, and you can be left feeling pretty unappreciated. But as I say, now that I have this product owner role, I've always wanted to be an advocate for UX design. I completely understand how it separates one organization from another, and the real monetary benefits that can come from having such a strong UX design team within house. I am hoping in my role that I will continue to advocate for UX design, but also still have more opportunity to impact the way that the product's built, the direction the product goes in, and yeah, exactly what it is that we deliver to our end users. But yeah, that's all from me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry if I came off a bit strong about UX in the real world compared to how we learn it in a bootcamp, but it's good to know the truth. It's good to have some honesty, and I hope you guys appreciated it. As always, tell a friend to tell a friend, and catch you in the next one. Wait, one more thing. Let me know if you want to see some stuff about my life in Germany. Obviously, Germany is a very interesting place for a Londoner, especially a black one. So if you want to find out about how they're getting on, let me know and maybe I'll make a video on it. See ya.